Hello friends, have you ever wondered how apps like Instagram, Netflix or Twitter handle millions of users without slowing down? Why do some applications feel super fast while others take time to load? The answer is in many cases is Redis. So in this video I am going to explain Redis in simplest way possible. No complicated jargons, no confusion theory. By the end of this video, you will understand what is what is Redis is, why it is so fast, and how developers use it in the real world application. So let's get started. So the first, what exactly is Redis? Redis is a database, but it is very different from traditional database like MySQL or MongoDB. Most database store the data on the disk. That means whenever you request the data, it has to be read from the disk, which takes time. Redis, on the other hand, store the data in the memory, also known as RAM. And since RAM is much faster than disk, Redis becomes extremely fast. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you are working in an office. If your files are stored in another room, every time you need something, you have to walk and find the files and come back. That takes times, right? But if you keep the important file on your desk, you can access them instantly. That's exactly what Redis does. It keeps frequently used data in memory so it can access instantly. That is why Redis is known as in-memory database. Now, you might be thinking, why do we need Redis? Let's understand the problem first. Imagine you have a backend API that fetches user data from the database. Every time user opens your app, a request goes to the server queries the database returns the result. Now imagine this happening thousands of times per second. This create a heavy load on the database and slow down your application. Now let's see how Redis solve this. With Redis, the first request goes to the database. The result is stored in the Redis. The next time the same data is requested, it is written directly from the Redis but not from the database. This means fewer database call, faster response time, and better performance. So Redis acts like a fast layer between your application and your database. So let's talk about most important use cases of Redis, which is caching. Imagine you have an API that return user profile data. Without without Redis, every time user open their profile, your server fetches data from the database. With Redis, first request data come from the database and get stored in the Redis. While next request data come directly from the Redis but not from the database. This may this makes your application much faster. You can think of it like this. User will request the Redis will request the database only if the data is not found in the Redis. This is called caching and it is most common use of Redis. Another common use case in session storage. So when the user logs into application, you need to store their session data. Instead of storing session in the database, you can store them in the Redis. Why? Because Redis is fast. Session data need to be accessed quickly. This help in faster authentication and better user experience. We can see the another powerful use cases is rate limiting. For example, you might want to limit user to 100 API request per minute. Redis can track how many requests a user has made and block them if they exceed the rate limit. This is the very useful for preventing the abuse, protecting the API, avoiding server overload. Now A simple example how to use a Redis in Node.js application. First, install Redis using the npm, then write the simple code. So I have written here the simple code. So here what's happening? We are creating the Redis client and connecting to the Redis server. Then we store the key called name with the value Vaibhav. After that, we retrieve the value using the get method. And finally, we print it. This is how simple Redis is used. You just store the data as a key value pairs and retrieve it instantly. Let's quickly look at some of important features of Redis. Redis is extremely fast because of its usage memory. It follow a key value structure which make it simple and efficient. It support a different data type like string, list, sets and hash. And it is widely used in modern backend system and system design. If you are a backend developer and preparing for system design interview, Redis is something you must know. It help you build fast and scalable application. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. In the next video, I will show you how you implement the caching using Redis step by step in the real project. See you in the next one.